So I talked to you about this a little bit, but my daughter just turned 1, but 2 weeks ago, there's on the 8th of May, which is crazy and hard to believe, but she's getting to the age, she's like coherent and she's not talking yet, but she understands things and she's starting to communicate. She's getting to the age where like we have to start like disciplining her, not yelling at her, but like correcting right from wrong. And I was talking to Lauren about it. It just got us thinking about how many lies we were told as kids by our parents, sometimes to like trick you into behaving better, sometimes just like, and we went down this rabbit hole and I was like, oh my God, there's so many of these like little lies. And I don't know, I didn't know if this was like just me or if that's how your childhood was too.
Yeah, dude, I love thinking about stuff like that because it has to do with like the human brain, like how you develop. And we've talked before. I don't even have this one. I purposely left this off, but like Santa Claus, like, but it's like Santa's watching. You know, that's like an example of one.
Right.
But basically, like lies that you're told as a kid, and that like turn out not to be true. I love having like realizations like that. Like, oh my God, like,
right.
I got like so I have like a little list of them like. Here's what I feel like. I want to see if you agree with this because this is one that used to be, I think, like the biggest deal, and it still happened. It actually happened to me like the other day, and it's something that I think people, especially kids, like over freak out about. It's like, all right, if glass breaks on the ground, I just don't think it's that big a deal. Like, there's like you sweep it up. There's like 8 big pieces, and then you just sweep up the rest, and it's gone. But people like freak out when glass breaks on the ground, and like people always think they're gonna step on it, or like weeks later they'll be like, "Oh, there might be some glass in that spot. Some glass broke." Like I feel like
it's bad timing for you. Really bad timing for you because I stepped on a piece of broken glass this week. It was terrible. I swear I could show you my foot. I won't, but this week that happened to me. Otherwise, I'd probably agree with you.
Do you know like what glass broke that happened?
It had broken. Like actually, we had somebody cleaning that. We have like a house cleaner, and one of the lighting fixtures broke like a lighting fixture. And she was like, "Don't worry, we cleaned it all up, whatever." And obviously, walking around their house barefoot, and we have, it's one of our little mats to the outside door, and hidden there was a piece of glass. And I stepped on it, and I was like, it hurt so bad.
All right, I guess bad timing.
Yeah, really bad.
It's just like the amount of freaking out that people put around it. Oh my God, there's kids around. Like, don't go in this room the rest of the week.
So I was going to say, this seems more like a Jean Marie thing where it's like specific to you.
My mom.
Like, did she set this like crazy?
I feel like I've seen it in multiple places. Well,
I think breaking glass is like something to be careful about. But was there
careful, but there's like 5 big pieces. You pick them up and then you sweep the rest, and then like it's okay. Like I feel like people like make it last like a huge deal. Go in the other room. Go outside. Don't come back in for like 2 hours. Glass broke, and like so like as a kid you're like glass breaking's like you're gonna die. Like I don't know. That was just like
that's a funny
one that stuck out to me. Like
I think a big one that a lot of
those feelings you have as a kid like that.
Right.
That's like a big part of this. Like you think is something so emotional.
Right.
What were you gonna say?
Were you told as a kid that like turning the light on in the backseat of a car was illegal? Because I was told that, and I've come to realize that a lot of people, their parents would say like, if you're on the highway, like turn that off, you're gonna get pulled over. When it's just it's annoying to them, and they don't want Yeah, it's not illegal. They just don't. Your parents just don't want you like futzing around. Like, why do you have the light on? Turn that off.
Yeah,
they probably want you to go to sleep.
It's not that annoying as a driver to have it on.
I think it's more like the implication of why does my kid need to have the light on? Like, what do they
just go to bed?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Because that is actually I feel like everyone can kind of relate to this one.
Or like, and then once I found out it wasn't illegal, it was like, it's really hard to see. Like out there.
It is kind of hard to see. Like, wait, what do you mean it's hard to see? Like, as the passenger?
As the driver. Like, it's hard to see, with using your mirror, which I don't find to be true, but whatever. I don't know why, but I guess I'll find out, relatively soon, but parents hate when their kids have the light on in a car. But that was a big one. And then also, like sitting too close to the TV, or if you make a funny face, it's going to stick. That was like a big one, Why?
It's gonna stay that way. I remember I used to cross my eyes all the time, like to my little cousins and making faces like I was like 7, and like I actually thought my face was gonna stay that way, like because someone told me that. So I would like not do it for too long. I would make sure, and then I would like look in the mirror to make sure I was fine. It's not gonna stay like that. Yeah.
No. Also, I just thought of this one, but I still swallow my gum usually. but that gum takes 7 years to digest. I'm sure everyone was told that at some point. That's not true.
Yeah.
No way that's true.
It just pooped.
What are you talking
about?
about?
Like the next day.
The next day. Yeah. There's
7 years. Like
right.
it doesn't make any
and
sense.
Everyone heard that.
Like I don't think anyone's ever died from swallowing gum.
I mean, if so, then I have an early fate because I've swallowed thousands of pieces of gum.
But like it does seem like it kind of seems like you shouldn't do it.
But why? Because
why?
you're told that it's bad for you.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's a lie.
As a kid, yeah. And like someone just thought, like I can understand why a parent would like not want their kid to swallow gum. I guess like it's kind of like a choking risk,
right?
Or like just something seems off about it. But
seems dirty, sure.
Yeah, there's something wrong, but like
the stigma. I want to stop the stigma.
Stop the stigma.
Stop that stigma. Yeah.
Yeah. I got like breakfast. Like parents never want their kids to be hungry.
Yep.
Like being hungry is so bad for you. You're trained as a kid like to think like if I'm hungry that's like a bad. But it turns out like with all the modern health like the best thing you can do is like fast and like being hungry is like an okay feeling, and that's something that if you want to grow up to have someone to be healthy that you would want to teach them when you're younger, like it's okay to be hungry sometimes, like
right.
And was that the same for you? Like I mean that's how like the
breakfast is the most well that was even like how we were taught that in school,
the food pyramid, right. Yeah. And actually, B-May told me. You want to wait? Listen to this. B-May told me that and I actually saw this on Drunk History. Like the food pyramid is like a government thing, and the person that like pushed that through with lobbying was Kellogg. Like this guy Kellogg.
I was gonna say it has to be the grains. Yes. It must be the grain business because that's the lowest.
Dude's the biggest cereal business. Lobbying to get the government to put grains as like. Grains are not that good for you, and like
well,
it's just
some of them they can be. The thing about nutrition is like. You can find 5 different scientists who are experts in the field of nutrition, and they all have 5 completely different opinions about what you should and shouldn't eat. Like there are some people who say you should just eat fruits and vegetables and meat. Some people say you shouldn't eat any meat. Some people say you should eat all meat. So there is some science to it, but we were taught like 7 servings of grains, 5 servings of vegetables, 4 servings of fruit. And then also I look at the tops, like, and also make sure you have your sugar. Like make sure you have your dessert every day.
Yeah, and I remember it said use sparingly. And I remember I was used to look at the food chart and I was like, that's an interesting word, sparingly. I was like, what does sparingly mean? It was like one of my first big vocabulary words I learned because it was always said, it said use sparingly. But weren't you taught like it's bad to be it's bad to like feel hunger?
Yeah, it's like for me it was more like it's the most important meal. The breakfast it's important to have a big breakfast.
It's like the least important meal of the day.
I feel way worse when I eat like an enormous breakfast.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Dude, I used to always like eggs and like bacon and like toast. Like it gives you this like the stomach, like this feeling of like kind of heftiness and like a little gassy. Like I always actually like, I liked it, but I never was a big fan.
It's good. Right.
But I thought I was like, it's healthy. I had to do it. I told my brother like 3 years ago that like bagels aren't that good for you, and he like lost it. And I still want to see where you're at on this one. I told you like a couple of years ago that orange juice is not that good for you. It's like sugar.
You said it was like, terrible for you.
It's terrible for you, dude.
Yeah.
Orange juice is terrible for you. It's like soda.
It's not like soda. It's not because there's no corn syrup.
So much sugar.
That was your argument. It's a lot of sugar, but it is. I mean, so yes, I was probably in an argumentative mood, but at that point, it's like, well, what's the difference between eating an orange and drinking orange juice?
Big difference.
And I've learned that now that like a lot of the nutrition comes from like, even though orange juice might not be a good example that we argued about, but we did argue about it, but it has pulp and
oranges are good for you.
Right. So orange juice is just ground up oranges.
With sugar.
No, they don't add sugar to it. That's just the sugar from the orange. No, they don't. Well, that's not my argument.
I'm talking about like Minute Maid.
Well, that's not. You're changing this revisionist history.
Well, no.
You're changing the argument.
All right, well, here's my thing for the case of this conversation. Like, as a kid, Minute Maid orange juice, Tropicana orange juice. Okay, it's in your fridge. It's like in a gallon can or a half gallon.
Of course.
And you think that's good for you, but it's essentially just like sugar juice.
Poison. Right. Apple juice, terrible. You know what I mean? That's
just sugar.
But it's not like you're insinuating that it's like added sugar, which usually it's not. Even if it's not, a lot of times it is. But even if it's just pure apple juice, that's still not good. That's still like a ton of sugar.
Oh, dude, and me and Shelby had a orange like squeezer, like a crusher, right, to make real orange juice. And I guess like a lot of the nutrition's in the fiber and like stuff like that. But dude, if you want to fill up a glass, like a 16-ounce glass of orange juice,
10 oranges, yeah,
it's like 25 oranges. Like, I'm not even kidding. It is a massive amount of oranges to get a little bit of juice. So, like, I guess if you make it all out of that, maybe it's like just the sugar. I don't know. But orange juice and like all those like breakfasty foods. Like, I mean, I remember I've been tricked my whole life by packaging on labels. Like, oh, low fat wheat thins. Oh, okay, it's low fat. Like, I'm trying to lose a couple of pounds. I'll have these low fat, like, Cheez-Its or whatever, like, and then it's like fruit roll-ups, like made with real fruit. It's like, okay, it's like the
bad.
packaging over the years, and people are a little smarter now, but like I was tricked my whole life. Like, I thought fruit roll-ups were good for you. I thought that like fruit snacks were good for you. Italian ice, I was like, it's not a lot of grams of fat in it. Like it was just like. It was just like, and I was like, it's just it's just like water and sugar, like frozen up. How bad could it be for you? This is like me in like 5th grade. I was a little chubby. And I was just so confused by all the things I was taught as a kid. Like, eat your breakfast, orange juice. This is good for you. Kind of on that note, but go ahead.
No, I remember the realization I had when I was taught to read like the nutritional facts, and it was like this many calories, all this, and then how many serving sizes. It's like 12
serving sizes.
And even as a little kid, I was like, that seems like intentionally misleading. Like, this is a individual package. Why would you? These 12 servings. There's not even 12 bites in this.
It's so ridiculous to split that up to make it. It's very misleading.
Like, how is that legal? Right.
And dude, want to know what else? I don't know if I ever talked about this before, but I am in shock that no alcohol has nutrition facts on the labels. What the hell, man? Like, every food is required to have the label. That's why the manufacturers try to sneak it, make it 10 servings, only 2 calories or whatever. But like, why? It must have been some amazing alcohol lobbyists that.
I think it's because it's regulated by because I looked into this, regulated by the ATF versus the FDA, the Alcoholic Tobacco Firearms. So like, they don't have, because they're also worried about tobacco and guns.
Interesting.
So they're like, all right, that's not their game. But yeah, it's a loophole. I mean, that's still a lobbyist thing. Like,
and maybe like the people haven't like fought against that because they're like, I don't want to know, man. Like, I need my beer or whatever.
Yeah, right. Right.
I really wish, like, if I go on a diet and I'm eating healthy, sometimes I like to mix in my wine, and I'm like, how many calories is this? I have no idea. Like, they just don't tell you, and like, it's hard to find. I've looked on the websites before to try to find it. Like, so it's like, all right, like, I have no idea. Yeah, but on that note, a little bit like putting a fork in the microwave. Dude,
no, it's not. What are you talking about? That's fine.
Dude, I always put a fork in the microwave.
I've a metal fork.
Yeah, it's fine. Nothing happens.
No, I've destroyed a microwave by putting metal in it. It was foil, but this must not be real metal. There's something going on. Maybe you have a
maybe it depends on the silverware. Because I will say I've been putting silverware in. I even talked about this on like one of my early podcasts because it was about like, don't listen to what people tell you. Like, use your own like judgment. And I was like, people have been telling me my whole life not to put forks in microwaves, and I always did it, and it was fine. I thought I was like getting away with something. When I was in New Zealand, I went on a trip to New Zealand. I put a fork in the microwave. I was like, 21, and I've been doing it my whole life. And it did like set off some shocks there. And I don't know if that was like a different country.
It's very obvious when it happens. You can hear it. You can see it. It looks like it's not exploding, but it's like sparks up.
Sparks up. So I will say, like, I don't know if it had something to do with the silverware I was using, but my whole life, up from probably like 9 to 22, I put my forks and spoons and silverware in the microwave and never had an issue.
I like rarely use the microwave. I don't.
Yeah, actually, I don't that much either.
But I know, like, next time that we visit each other at your place, not at mine, I want to watch you put silverware in the microwave.
All right, I'll do it.
Because
I'll do it.
That shouldn't be the case. Do you have other ones? Because I have a big one that's I know for a fact is specific to me.
I actually have like one big one, but I'll run through the other like little ones I have. I have like don't steal because the cameras are watching you. Like, dude, the cameras are not watching you every single second at the store. Like, there's not a single guy back there looking at every single camera, pinpointing every, like, they're mostly there for like, if something happens, they can go back. Like, cameras used as a threat to like in stores and public places is not as true as you think. Like, don't steal, there's cameras here. Like, the camera's they're looking at you right away.
You should probably teach like don't steal because it's
yes, you should teach don't steal because it's wrong, not because there's cameras.
Right.
And I just think anything with cameras, like, ooh, there's like people are very scared.
Most of them don't even work. Like most store businesses,
and the ones that do work, there's not somebody monitoring that every single second. Right. I have Dare, like teaching kids how bad weed is. Like I said, I was never gonna smoke weed.
Sure.
I remember I used to go to the Disney store, and I truly believed that store nothing was for sale. because it was
That's
expensive.
genius. That's so smart.
I
Your mom
really
told you that?
thought, yes, she said nothing here is for sale. It's just kind of for looking. And I bought
That's
it
so
because like
smart.
they had that big TV in the back and like I thought it was like a display store.
Right.
And I truly believed that nothing was for sale because I
That's
guess it was like too
amazing. That's a
expensive.
good one.
So I, for years, when I remember like, I think it was like maybe like middle school, like 8th grade, 7th grade, I was, there was like, I saw a price tag and I was like, wait a second, like this stuff is for sale. Oh my God. The other time my mom tricked
That's
me
really
is
smart. I like
I would
that.
never eat, me and my brother would never eat calamari because it was squid. And like we would never eat squid. I love calamari now, but when we moved to Chicago, I was in 6th grade, 7th grade. My brother was younger. She told us it was Chicago chicken. And so we were
Okay.
just hounding it down, eating it.
Yep.
And like we were holding little squid legs up. We had no idea. We're like, yo, we love Chicago
Chicken is so weird out here. Yeah.
we're like, we love Chicago chicken. Dipped it in the
Smart.
sauce. So
I
she
did.
tricked me there.
I saw the movie
Yeah.
Babe, and after I watched the movie Babe, I didn't want to eat any pork or ham or anything. So, and my mom would always make pork chops. So she called them chicken chops. So I ate chicken chops, nothing but chicken chops, growing up. And then when I was like, it was in high
Chicken
school.
chops.
By the time I figured out that chicken chops were just pork chops, she just didn't want me to know that I was eating Babe
She didn't want you to think you were eating like this nice talking pig.
because I wouldn't eat it. Yeah.
All right. Saying you're allergic to something. I feel like people like
Yeah, it's smart.
they're like,
I've
allergic.
used that. Mhm.
I'm allergic to something, and like I feel like someone just didn't like strawberries, or like when they were 3, they had like a rash because they had like some straw. You don't. So you think you're allergic to strawberries your whole life? Like saying you're allergic to something, I feel like it's something that you're taught as a kid, and you
Well,
think you're
like-
allergic, and you're like it's fine.
I think that some people lie that they're allergic because they don't like things, but like, so you're saying that food allergies don't exist?
I think some people were lied to as kids that they were allergic to a specific thing, and maybe their parents actually thought they
Why would
were
your
because they.
Yeah, why would your
Maybe
parents lie to
maybe
you
your
about that?
parents were wrong. Well, maybe they were wrong, and you got you ate. I guess I'm using a strawberry for an example,
see,
and you got
sure.
like some type of rash, and you were like 2, and now
Right.
here you are like 14, and you're like, I can't eat strawberries, I'm allergic. Like
Sure.
eat it again and see it. Maybe it was just a weird reaction at that.
If you went to
time.
like an allergist, I would say if you went to an allergist and they told you that you're allergic to something, probably try to avoid it. Like there's people who are like allergic to sesame seeds, and like Lucy, my daughter, she ate peanut butter and she threw up, and then she ate peanut butter another day and she threw up, and 3 times we're like, all right,
yeah,
something's up here. So we took her to a doctor, and they tested her, and she's not allergic to peanuts. She just has like an intolerance. But there are tests to tell you if you're just people. Some people are born with basically antibodies against certain foods, and then when
Sure.
you eat the food, they reject it. But I see what you're saying.
But like if you told Lucy she's allergic to peanut butter, and then like
Mm-hmm.
her whole life she's avoiding peanut butter sandwiches, and then she's in like middle school, like she can have the peanut butter sandwich. You found out she wasn't allergic, and that would be something
Right.
you were told as a kid that like
Sure.
is wrong.
Sure.
Okay, all right. What's your big one?
This is weird, but my parents used to tell me that as a kid, if you lie, that your tongue turns black, and like as a kid, you don't know any better. So whenever I would say something, if they thought I was lying, they'd say, "Let me see your tongue." And if I was telling the truth, I'd proudly show it. And if I was lying, I'd show them like a little tiny little piece, so that because I thought it would be black. And
Did you
obviously,
have a
if I don't-
mirror?
No. Well, I mean, I had a
ever-
mirror, but like
Did you
as a
ever
kid,
test it out? Be
No.
like a lie
Oh,
in the
no,
mirror
I-
and see if it turned
yes,
black?
yes, of course. And my brother and I would do it to each other, but I never really, I didn't want to test it in front of my parents. Like it's a thing that only grown-ups
Right.
can see, and it's actually pretty genius because a kid's stupid. They're not gonna. If I'm lying, I'm not gonna want you to see my tongue, so I'll just show you like a little piece of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so then you know they're lying.
hmm
That's funny, man. Like it's funny how. Oh, so are like some of these lies? Is that lie? Is that like bad to do to a kid? Is that bad? Like, would you do that to your daughter? Like, is that bad parenting, or is that like a nice trick that you can laugh at when you get older?
Maybe both. Like I guess the
Do you resent
like,
your mom for doing that
no,
to you?
of course not. Of course
Exactly.
not. But like
'Cause,
ideally,
it's silly.
But I like did that teach like when I found out about her, like did that teach like treat lying lightly? We're like, oh, they're lying to me about not lying. You know what I mean? Like
right.
once you learn about it. So I guess ideally it would be like, you should have like an open and honest conversation. But I mean, it's kids, so
Right.
I don't know.
And that was
Hard to say.
almost their way to like actually get the truth out of you.
Right.
So then they could like teach you about truth because they want
Right.
to know if you're actually lying or
Right.
not.
So,
So it was like
obviously
a
I don't
strategy.
resent it at all. I think it was
Yeah,
smart.
It's pretty
but,
funny.
like, it's hard when you think about raising a kid because you don't want to ever lie to him.
Right.
But you also don't want to like you want to let them make their own mistakes. You want to make sure that you're always honest with them. But there are certain things you have to protect them from. And like as a little kid like that, I don't see any harm in
Right.
that.
And like they won't, and it's almost like it's your opportunity to like take advantage of their like dumbness as a kid.
Right.
And like you don't have that opportunity forever. When they're older, they're hiding pot in their bedroom. That's going to be a different conversation than this. So it's like use it while you have
Right.
it, and
Right.
it's kind of innocent as a parent because like the kid's not going to hate you for like it was just a little like trick. It's like
Sure.
like
Right.
and,
Right.
So I'm cool with it. It's funny. It's funny to look back on.
Yeah. Agreed.
You want to know like my main one, and this is like kind of deep. It's like about perspective. And I always think about this when I look back at like home videos and stuff. It's like, all right, so when I was a kid, and I would be like a family event with lots of aunts and uncles and their friends and everything, I thought that all adults were friends. I thought that all adults were comfortable like being in the same room with each other, and I just thought adults were all fine to be together. I never looked at like the nuances of relationships between like my older cousins, like girlfriend, and my uncle. Like it would be awkward for them to maybe ride in the car together because they never met.
Sure.
Like I just thought since they were adults, they were all friends. Like I look back at this video of me as a kid and I'm playing around and like I see all my aunts and uncles and like I know that they like have different political views and they fought over politics, and I know like they must have just met each other. Or like when my mom was dating this guy Joe Steyer, he came like I would like treat the social situation accordingly and like not maybe leave two people alone, someone that I was closer with. But as a kid, you will just like run out of the room and like leave
Right.
two awkward people together because you think all adults are friends.
It's a good one. Yeah, I never really considered that, but I guess that's like the naivete or whatever.
Right.
Kids being like naive and not even considering that. And then there is like a clear demarcation between adults and kids when you're a kid. It doesn't exist. But like this person, and like you would think that it happens like when you turn 18, people are like, oh, that's when you're an adult. Legally, it's when you're an adult. But in your mind, it's like that's when you become, that's a line in the sand that once you cross it, which obviously isn't the case, but that's that's true. You never really consider that like the relationship.
Right. And I feel like a lot of times now as an adult, I feel like a lot of times, like if you're with like a group of family or cousins you don't see that much and there's kids around, you're all like, oh, hey, and you're all like focusing the attention on the kid in the room, kind of baby talking, having the focus be around the kid, and that's comfortable. That's fine. Then the kid runs out of the room and you're just sitting there with like this person you don't know that well.
Right.
And it's like, wait, what's that kid didn't leave? Like,
I know. Right. Yeah, that's a good point. It's funny. I never really like thought of it that way, but I think that makes sense. And you also like cater. You're just talking about this, but you cater how you act with each other when the kid's around. You know what I mean? Like if two people are fighting, kid walks into the room, you're not going to continue the fight, and like you kind of like shelter them and treat them with kid gloves, and then when they leave, you can get back into it. But like
as a kid, you are a huge part of the social setting, but you don't know it.
Right.
And I think that's a good one. Like that was
it is. I like it.
Yeah. I had one other one. I thought my grandpa was batted 400 in the Major League Baseball up until I was like 12.
That's awesome. I'm gonna do that too, for sure.
He batted 400 in the Marines, and he played baseball in the Marines. And he was like pretty good. Like I don't think it was that like official. But I just always thought he batted 400. And I dropped that to someone, so they're like, okay, so your grandpa's one of the best Major League Baseball players of all time. And I was like, into sports cards. Then. I was into sports cards then, and I started to be like, oh, okay, my grandpa. my grandpa's not Ted. My grandpa's not Ted Williams.
Right. That's smart. I'll probably do the same thing. You know. That's fun.
But yeah, man, that's a good one, and like it'll be fun to watch. You be a dad, and like how all this like stuff comes out.
It's weird navigating the waters now. Like there's no right or wrong answer. You just have to kind of follow your intuition a little bit, which we haven't really had to do much. You know what I mean?
People have been parenting forever. What do you mean?
Right.
What'd you say about intuition? Following
like
it?
You have like up until now there hasn't been a whole lot of like guidance almost. You know what I mean? It's all about like keeping the kid healthy and alive.
Right.
And then it gets to a point where she's like perceiving the world and taking things in and like
it's different
making
level
connections. So now it's like, all right, I don't want to and obviously it's overthinking it to think that you would set some crazy like, fear or like long-standing like personality trait, but you have to just make sure like again, trust your instincts, be honest, do what's best.
It's actually not crazy to think that because a lot of kids have like they have to go to therapy later in life to like
Right,
uncover
but it doesn't
traumatic
happen.
events and stuff.
It doesn't happen by like a parent having good intentions and like
Right.
maybe like doing, wording something the wrong way or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard to explain, but she's getting to the point where that's starting to become like another big concern is like, I don't want her to be a jerk. Like, I don't want her to be like a brat. You know what I mean? So like discipline has to happen, but I just like, she's like this cute little thing. I love her so much that I feel bad, like correct, but you have to correct her and stuff. So it's fun. It'll be challenging, but I'm looking forward to it.
Man, it's fun. Sweet. All right, I like that.